Hi guys, my name is Sophie, this is Books and Things, and today I'm going to talk about how I review books. So I've been asked to make a video about how I review books, basically as a kind of like aid to people who are starting out on BookTube, or on a book blog, or on Goodreads, or whatever. I've chosen an example review book, and I'm going with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, basically because everyone knows what happens, so I'm not going to accidentally spoil someone when I talk about the spoiler section. If you haven't read the book or seen the film, when I get to the spoiler section I will tell you, and you can go away and read the book and then come back and learn how to do spoiler sections of reviews. So, first thing that I do with any video, obviously, is I introduce who I am and what I'm doing, just so that if the title of the video isn't clear enough, then people can decide to stick around or leave, depending on whether they want to listen to the thing I'm going to talk about. I then do a brief synopsis of the book. So with this I would say Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is basically about Harry, who is this 11-year-old boy who discovers that he is a wizard, and it's about his adventures in the wizarding world with his friends and kind of his enemies at school, and him navigating this cool and amazing new world. Obviously that doesn't tell you everything, it doesn't tell you much of anything really, but it gives people a gist of what the book's about and whether or not they'd be interested in it, so that if they haven't read it they can then go away and read the book before they come back and listen to the rest of the review. After giving a brief synopsis of the book, I would also tell people how many stars I rated it. You can do this at the end if you don't include a spoiled section, but if you're going to tell people to leave, you want to get this kind of out of the way at the beginning so that they can know what you like, whether you liked it or not. So for this book I gave it 5 stars because it's Harry freaking Potter. I would then kind of talk about the main things that I liked. So most of my book reviews are positive, like I will talk at the end about what I do if I don't like a book, but most of my reviews are positive because I tend to like the books that I read, and if I do a review it's usually because the book's had a big impact, so it's either very, very, very good or so awful it made me want to cry. And because I don't read many of the latter, there aren't many reviews of that on my channel. But so with Harry Potter I would talk about the characters, and I'd kind of say I really liked the characters in this book. I found a lot of them really good characters that I could connect with really well. I found that they were written very three-dimensionally and that I kind of could empathise with a lot of them even if I didn't agree with what they were doing. I particularly found the character of Hermione really relatable. I thought she was a very kind of good role model as a character, but also as a kind of unusual kind of female character in a kind of young YA older middle grade book, because I think she rocks. Because I think that it's unusual to have such an obviously brainy character but who is also not very good at social interaction or kind of making friends, and who is also a girl. Mainly those kind of characters are boys, and although they don't make friends very well, they do still have a group of friends, and with Hermione she is very isolated, especially for the first kind of half of this book, and that was very relatable if you've kind of been that girl at school. So talk about the characters, and then I'd talk a little bit about the writing and whether I like the writing or not. And so for Harry Potter I'd say I liked the writing, I thought it was really good. It was a little bit simplistic, but it is a children's book, so it's very easy to read for all ages, and although the writing is quite easy and it makes it quite quick to read through, you do kind of get symbolism and links that you kind of wouldn't get unless you'd read it several times or unless you were kind of an older reader. So I think there's definitely something there for everyone. I would then kind of talk about if there was anything I didn't like, if I thought there was anything that was a bit annoying. So I'm going to make some stuff up because I really like Harry Potter. So I could say, although I liked the writing, there were times where I felt like the amount of all I can think is slut shaming, and that really doesn't fit with Harry Potter. Although I liked the writing, I thought there were some places where it felt a little bit clunky, and although that wasn't all the way through the book, it did distract from the plot and the characters. This is not true. That's not how I feel about this book. Then I would go into a spoil section. So this is at the point where I would tell people, if you haven't read this book or seen the movie, I would go now, unless you want to spoil yourselves, because I'm going to talk about really important bits of the plot that I either really liked or really didn't like. And then after people have left the video, I would say, God, wasn't it really cool when he defeated Voldemort at the end? No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I would, but not like that. So then I kind of talk about which specific bits of the plot I really enjoyed, talk about specific characters that kind of are involved later on. So for this one, I would say I found the scene with the Mirror of Erised really sad. It was really emotional and I cried. I also found Dumbledore mildly, like, again, this isn't really true, I found Dumbledore mildly frustrating when he was quite so flippant with Harry at the end, when Harry was waking up from the battle with Voldemort, or kind of things like that you don't want people to know unless they have also read the book. So I do spoil sections because I think that you can't really do a review if you don't. Like, the things that I want to talk about are stuff that are in the book and I want to talk about them, so I will. But I will also give people fair warning so that if they don't want to talk about it, they don't have to. That is pretty much what I do for a book that I like. I will then say goodbye and end the video. If it's a book that I really, really didn't like, for example, I don't know, Black Ice, which I do have a review for if you want to go and watch me hate on a book, because I can, because it's an awful book, then you could go and watch that video. That is much more, there are very few things where I'd say anything good, and basically just swap the order of things. So you start again with non-spoilery stuff and then you move on to spoiled stuff, but you want to end with the good things. So start off with whatever you've got a majority of. So if for most of the book you thought it was awful, start with that and then end with, but I did like this. If you mainly think the book is good, start with all the good things and end with things you didn't like. And then at the end, kind of just restate how you felt about the book. So if you hated the book, do all the shit stuff, then a bit of the good, and then just remind people, I really didn't like this book, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, or I would recommend it if you want to have a book that you really hate. And then go and say goodbye to your video camera and go and edit, basically. I hope this was helpful for some people. I hope it was useful or whatever. If you do start a booktube channel, please do leave comments linking me to your channels, because I'd love to see some of your guys' videos, and I will see you again soon. Bye!